Franchising Company, back again with another great episode, franchisor interview from our ZorZooms series. This week, we are going to be talking to Alex with Ideal Siding and helping you to uncover some great information that you can't just Google to find out.
All right, and so before we get started, you can find more great interviews just like this one on our website under the Find a Franchise section, or you can also go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. All of our socials are at The Franchising Company. So we are interviewing a different franchise every week, so make sure you do hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any.
And if you have any interest in Ideal Siding, you can text Matt directly. His number is 270-215-2844.
We'll just make sure we'll get with Alex, make sure that your market's available, and get you guys connected.
All right, let's do it. So like I said, today we're with Alex at Ideal Siding. I'm sorry. So Alex, welcome. And can you give us just, the pitch on Ideal Siding and how it came about?
Sure. So Ideal Siding is the largest siding renovation company in the United States and Canada that specialize in siding. So there are large national companies that do everything or almost everything. We specialize just in siding. Siding itself is a 60 billion plus industry. So we have a lot of room to grow. And we just decided to build a national player to be better, provide better service to the customers and be the brand that people will trust and see as, kind of option with less risk to use the services for.
It's a super simple model.
It is super simple model, but the more I'm getting into details of this industry, the more opportunities I see. I believe that the business is typically complicated anyway. So why would you overcomplicate it?
Exactly. No, we like that. Didn't you tell me when we spoke the last time that you started as a lead generation company for the siding industry? How did you make that pivot?
Yeah, my background is computer science and finance. I did masters in finance, accounting, banking. Like I did 3 majors, and my dream was to work in management consulting. So I was applying for McKinsey, A.T. Kearney, Boston Consulting Group. I got a job at PayPal and was leading their marketing for the whole country. There was a team, but we were a small team within this country that I was part of, and I had to run a lot of national campaigns for the whole country for PayPal. Later I moved to Canada and started my marketing agency, and we did a lot of lead generation. Siding was one of the industries, so I was just helping my friend for him to get leads, and it evolved into us having partners, clients across different markets. And we became the largest lead generation company in siding space or siding vertical in the United States and Canada. And what was unique is that we were doing performance-based revenue share. So we would not charge for clicks or calls, but we would spend our money to generate leads that convert to sale. And then once our partner in particular city does the project and receives the payment, only then we get our portion, like our commission.
Okay.
And it's very similar. It's very similar to franchising, right? If franchisees don't make money, if they don't have sales, franchisors don't make any revenue. So it was a very interesting shift for us. My original plan was just to build 50 corporate locations because I had leads. I know exactly how to do it properly. I know exactly what needs to be done. But then I met Brand Scudamore, owner of O2E Brands, 100 Go Junk, and he kind of convinced me that franchising is a better route, and I think it is.
Well, you're growing like crazy. Can you tell us a little bit about the model? How brick and mortar employees? We'll let you talk about it.
Sure. Maybe I'll tell you why first, and then I'll explain the model. So I've seen a lot of companies in renovation space go bankrupt because they have too much overhead. They become not competitive, or they become inefficient in communication. But also, I saw a lot of years where the market just go crazy and it triples in size and demand, and you need to grow very, very fast. And I thought, how do we create a model that is very flexible, that it can shrink and expand in a very easy way? And as a result, we created a model where we don't have office, so you work from home. We don't have equipment. We don't have cars. You don't need it. You don't need it. Basically, any equipment. You don't need any stock of material, and you don't need employees.
I love
So, but at the same time, you can scale to multiple million operations within this model in a very fast time. If there's a demand in the market going, like what we had in 2020, 2021, it was just crazy. Everyone was calling us.
Well, and I tell you, going back to what you said earlier, the fact that you started in lead generation, any business is only as good as the lead generation, right? You got to have customers coming in. The fact that that's how you got your start, and you fully understand that, that's a huge benefit to every one of your franchise owners and anybody looking to, start a franchise. Is you've got an expert in the space that knows how to build that clientele, which is huge.
And so if I'm correct, you take care of all of the lead generation, all the marketing, provide a call center for your franchise owners. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I believe that for renovation business of any sort, it's the biggest failure point, lack of leads, or lack of leads that convert to sales. Because one thing is to have leads, another thing is to have leads that actually buy from you, right? So if someone solves that part, that makes the whole renovation business run way easier. And we, as a lead generation company before, we provide a lot of leads at very affordable price to franchisees and a high volume. Because one thing is to lower the cost of acquisition. Another thing is create volume, because with volume, every next lead is cost more than the previous one. And how do you create large volume at still manageable cost? That's a difficult part. And we brought all our team that were doing lead generation, added more members, and now we are doing all the lead generation for our franchisees. So in our vertical, we don't sell signing leads to anybody else except for our franchisees. Our franchisees also encouraged to find their own clients. We put law signs, things like this. But as of now, vast majority, probably 99% of leads goes through us.
That's fantastic. I mean, honestly, as a prospective franchise owner, that's huge, because that's everybody's concern. It's the biggest question mark starting a new business. And so knowing that 99% of the business could potentially come from leads that are being generated by your team is phenomenal. So talk to us a little bit about the actual products and services themselves. Like what is it that you guys do? What all do you provide?
Sure. Siding is the interesting industry because this is the highest ticket item. There is nothing more expensive in renovation than siding replacement. Kitchens are less, flooring is less, roof is less, windows less, everything is less than siding. Siding is the most expensive part. So imagine, you actually need not that many clients to have very large business. Our first year average check is over 20,000 first year. Second year is typically getting closer to like 25, 30, depending on location. But in many cases, we need to do 30 to 40 jobs to do $1 million in sales. So our typical client is the 55-year-old female who, kids are out and she wants to create a dream house. She doesn't want to move. She likes the neighborhood. She has, she knows everyone around. And we meet with the homeowner and they say, you know what, we want, first of all, we don't want to paint anymore. We don't want to fix anymore. We just want to get it done because we're getting older. We don't want to do anything with it. And I was like, great, because all our materials, you don't need to maintain, like except for cleaning. Like we do need to paint it. Most of the products, they have either 15 or 20 or 50-year warranty on the paint. And then we go into design. So we have exterior designer in-house, and they have a call and they go through different options. Then we create mock-up. So we were the first company to actually have in-house team with proprietary matrix, that we take a picture of the house, we put a matrix on it, and then we fill matrix with any product they want or any color they want. And then we provide them with different mock-ups that look really similar to how the product will end up looking. So it's accurate in terms of size. So let's say there'll be like 17 boards. It will be actually 17 boards when they install siding. There's like, in terms of software, there's nothing even close to that right now available. So we had to do the team of designers that actually create those design mockups for clients, and it's free of charge for clients and free of charge for franchisees. We create those designs, then the homeowner chooses, and then we do the whole thing of taking off existing siding or stucco, putting a brand new rain screen system or insulation on outside, and then siding of their choice. And then we do trims, soffits, fascia, all the exterior around the house, column wrapped, things like this. So it's a lot of creativity comes into it, because you have a lot of different things, and it can change how the house looks like. So franchisees like that every house is unique and it's actually a challenge. And if they do their job well, the homeowner goes, after our meeting saying, well, those guys told me so many great ideas. Our house will look amazing.
I love the fact that you provide those mock-ups, because, people like myself, for example, I can't visually see something. Jennifer, on the other hand, can visualize what that is going to look like, but I need the mock-up. I need to be able to see it, and that's how I can make my decision. So I think that's a great tool.
And so you briefly mentioned no brick and mortar is required, so you don't have inventory. So I assume all the inventory is ordered for each job, correct?
Yes, we have a system on how to order and then how to add any additional orders if needed. And then we have national accounts with all major suppliers. And in vast majority of cases, we can just return material that we didn't use and get refund. If it's a custom material, then of course we cannot return it. But in terms of custom material, it's more rare. And it's also, we typically have extra material order just so we don't miss a couple of pieces. And then we typically leave this material with the homeowner, so they put it somewhere in the basement or garage, that if there is siding damage or anything in the future, they already have those boards to get replaced.
Awesome. So also you mentioned no employees. So this is a subcontractor model. Do you help them to secure those subs? And can you talk about that?
Yeah, so we have a in-house call center that books all the meetings, but it also talks to crews, and we build database of crews. Right now, we have largest database of siding crews in North America. I don't think that anyone has more crews in database that we have. We are launching Siding Academy this year. It will be first certification program for installers on all materials that ever existed. So we are building educational program because we want our installers to be up to our standards, or at least getting closer to that. We expect that there'll be labor shortage in coming years, in 2025, 2026, for all renovation companies, not just siding, everything. And we are preparing for that. We want to build this academy where we have the largest database of crews. Where we need more crews, we can actually get them from this academy. And we also give the system on how to work with crews, because in renovation, there are three challenges. One is where to get clients that will pay you on time. Second is where to get installers that are actually doing quality job and are not charging you arm and leg. And the third one is how to manage the whole process and the whole project the way that your net margin initially is similar to net margin at the end, and it's not completely different. So the third one is all about franchising. We have manual, we have system, we have masterminds, we have best practices. The second one about crews, we built systems specifically for siding market on how to attract and retain the best crews. As a result, we can give 25-year workmanship warranty. This is like when we started, that was unheard of in the industry. Now some companies copy that warranty, but it's a very good value proposition. Like for installation of siding. Typically, roofing and windows, it was common to have lifetime warranty, but not in siding. In siding, the best you could get like 2 years, but in most cases 1 year or 0. And we decided we'll just bring a system on how to attract and retain the best installers, and as a result, we can give 25-year workmanship warranty.
That's impressive.
Okay, let's see here. So we talked on no employees. When is it? Obviously, at some point you're going to scale and have admin, and so when does that point normally happen for your franchisees?
Well, you don't need admin because we take care of call center, we take care of recruiting, we take care of crews, we take care of. We actually have partner bookkeeping company that can help with bookkeeping. It's like we really try hard not to build overhead on our franchisee, level. Whatever can be centralized, we would centralize it as a franchisor, but we believe that you should be always making money. Like if COVID happens, you should not have high payroll. Like you should not be going through challenging periods. You should shrink down, and then you can expand very fast. So with building a team, we also help this. We have a in-house recruiter that help franchisees to find candidates, and we already have very good idea of who we want, what kind of people we want to find. So franchisee typically starts by himself doing both sales and operations. Then they would typically hire operations to help with construction side, and then they will hire a salesperson, and they will become semi-absentee general manager of the business. We believe that for you to properly manage your business, you need to understand the business. And in order to understand the business, you need to spend at least 6 months running the business, both sides. And it's actually a lot of fun. Like it is. So a lot of people, when they started, they're like, "Oh man, I don't know anything." It's like, duh. We don't have franchisees who install siding. Like we have guys with Harvard MBA. We have guys who exited IT companies. Like we have a lot of very interesting, franchisees with different backgrounds. But in order to build siding business or any other renovation business, it's actually better if you don't know how to do it, how to do the technical side, because it will be your limiting factor on scaling the business.
So on that note, you're not looking for franchise owners that have a construction background, are you?
We don't have a single person who was, general contractor or construction person. Like I've been in business of lead generation for construction companies, and I know a lot of owners of construction companies, and I know their strong sides and their weaknesses. And in our model, I realized that it is so much easier to run this site renovation company than, for example, IT company or marketing company. That if you bring smart people from other backgrounds from a competitive environment and put them in less competitive environment like siding is, they just thrive. And this is what we do. We bring people from competitive environments. I can tell you that the best type of people that do best are consultants, because siding sales is all about consulting. It's never like in roofing you have shingle or this gray or black 25-year or 30. That's it. In siding there's so many options, like hundreds of different options, and you open trunk, there's like boxes of samples of different things, and every change changes the pricing. So this is where once you get really good, and it's typically after 100 estimates, you can already tell them what the solution is. And when you tell them and show them this is what we can do, this is how we can do it, people's like, whoa, nobody told me, like nobody showed me this. And it's also easier sale for consultants, like just because it's not that competitive overall, that industry. So based on our experience, people who were some kind of consultants before in IT, in management consulting, in marketing consulting, they do best.
That's good to know. And so, you talk about it's important for the owner to be involved for the first 6 months. So I'm assuming then you're not looking for any passive owners to start with, but after the first 6 months, they can transition to more of a passive role at that point. I'd say semi-passive, not fully.
I myself own shares in 5 locations. I'm not involved in day-to-day in those locations. I'm fully absentee in those 5 locations. We love to have people like me to be absentee in those locations, and we train and coach people how to go to next step. But for a person to start with absentee right away from day one, what we ask is show us that you did it before, or you're capable of. Tell us what you did before, because I see how many challenges this business might have if you don't know what to expect and how to manage it, and not just our business, any business. So even though we support franchisees and we support their teams, the best results are from those guys who are going all in full time on day one and then build a team.
Sure.
We have cases where people bring the team. So if somebody will come and say, I want to be absentee, we have 2 conditions. One, they need to buy 3 territories. Second, they need to pay $100,000 plus to their general manager. Because if you don't pay $100,000 to your general manager, you will not get a good general manager. If you don't get a good general manager, it will take way longer to build your business.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, anytime you do any business in a passive manner, it's going to cost more money up front because you got to pay somebody to run.
Yeah, but it's not just capital. It's the expertise and knowledge how to do it. There are guys that do it well, and we have a lot of examples of this working, right? But it's easy when it's done. So if somebody have done it already, they're like, yeah, I'll just do this. But when you do it for the first time, after years, like, oh man, I'm not making as much money as I thought, or this thing came up, or this person quit, I don't know what to do. We're like, okay, great. Now we need to run, like, now we need to allocate so much resources to help you to fix it that it's just unfair to other franchisees.
Sure.
So we would love to have people like this running it with the team right away, but it should be someone with previous experience on this.
Yeah, makes sense.
What about commercial versus residential versus insurance work? What do you like to focus on?
We focus on single family renovations. This is low risk, high margin, quarter of business. We are adding more in multi-unit renovations right now. We did a couple of 300,000 plus jobs, and it went well. And I myself did a very large job as well, like $250,000 plus job. So we know that market. It's actually less competitive than single family renovation, but there are way more risks. So we are building the full commercial division that will be helping our franchisees, so they can use this team. It's a lawyer, envelope consultant, and financing person. Because to run larger commercial projects, you need financing, you need lawyer, and you need technical person. So this is what we are building this year to help franchisees to get more jobs, because we started bidding on a lot of 2 million plus jobs. And technically it's the same as what we do right now, just on bigger scale. So it's HOA with 13 buildings. Each building has 6 units, and it just sheer square footage. But a lot of those are 2 million plus projects, and there will be phased over probably 2 years or so. But we believe that long term, half of our business will be in those projects. In terms of insurance, we don't do any insurance work except for one company, Paul Davis. They're also, great franchise. And if Paul Davis calls, we do projects with them because they bring us large projects. So with insurance, we like projects that are within our averages. So $20,000 plus projects from insurance, we love it. If it's a small repair, it just, doesn't make much sense for us because insurance does involve way more paperwork, way more admin. And if you don't have to do it, why would you do it? So we kind of go from, plan A, single family renovation. If you don't have enough, then plan B, then plan C, then plan D.
Okay, so that's news to me. I've talked about your brand to a lot of our clients, and I tell them that you're typically only residential, but it sounds like you're implementing other stages to help support them. Okay, I like that.
It's still residential. It's just multi-unit, just bigger buildings.
All right, I will make sure that I say that correctly now.
And then, so you talked about, you brought up, obviously if you're going to be more in that kind of absentee or semi-absentee, that you're looking for 3 territories. Can you just talk about what the territory looks like? What is the size of a standard territory? What do you look for in a market?
Sure. Our minimum territory is 200,000 population. So we kind of built a little bit bigger territories than an average in home services. And some territories are even bigger if we look at, for example, there's a lot of brick in the market. Then we just increase the territory. But in most cases, it will be somewhere between 200,000 to 250,000, maybe 300,000 population. And they're exclusive. So, franchisee builds their portfolio there, and other franchisees cannot go and run, projects in their territory. We love to start with one territory. When franchisee goes and buy one territory, develops it, and within 12 months, they would buy second and third or second. This is typically what we love to see. We want people to have, excitement and thrill and proof of concept and money, flowing from the business when they say, you know what, now I want to double down. We don't want people to go into huge debt and be stressed about it. It's like, oh, I got this loan, I have to pay it off. Like we typically tell, it's more like our philosophy, as little as possible overhead, as little as possible debt, and a high margin, because all renovation companies have high margin.
I love the philosophy, honestly.
And on that, something else that I tell our clients that you had told me in the past is that you will protect the surrounding area of a new franchisee. So somebody else can't come in and buy that market before the franchisees had time to get that proof of concept. And I think that's awesome. I don't know.
It's very respectful. Yeah. You don't see many brands who do that.
Right. I think we are going kind of against mainstream on that, but we had great advisors in franchising space, like veterans, and they tell us that, guys, if you take it a little bit slower and you protect your franchisees, it will pay off long term.
I love the fact that you're so focused on keeping their overhead low. Like and again, trying to keep the debt service down. Like, you're doing everything you can on your side to help them be profitable.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the investment.
Sure. So if someone buying one territory, typically the all-in investment is between 100 and 150,000. And it includes 50,000 franchise fee, working capital, and marketing expense for the first few months or the first 6 months. If they have computer and iPad already and a car, that's pretty much it. So our top performers, they're driving, Toyota Camry, Audi Q5. So you don't need to have truck. You don't need to, carry materials. Like, we actually discourage it. We say, well, just use your car. Let's see how it goes. And then once you're ready and once you have more funds to buy whatever you want, then you'll buy whatever you want. Then they get to the point where they have money, like, you know what? Why would I buy it? Actually, I like this car. Everything is great. And I drive Tesla. Every time I drove to the customer, the conversation was, so the siding business must be going well because you're driving Tesla. And so I started parking like 2 blocks away from the customers, and I would just walk. I would just take samples and just walk. When you drive on a Camry or RAV4 and you park, they're like, okay, this is a family man. This is a person who will not overcharge me. Like, this is just perception. And what we noticed is that cars that are more modest, actually, salespeople in those cars sell more.
Awesome. Okay. So just touching a little bit, you had mentioned, you don't have to do a lot of projects to have a very successful business. I'll let you say it to make sure I'm saying it correctly, but to have $1 million business, about how many projects do you need to do a month?
For first year, you need to do about 45 a year, which is about 4 a month, with December being off or January being off, because we encouraged franchisees to take a month vacation, whenever they want.
What? I didn't know that.
Because, like, imagine you can go on vacation and you don't have overhead, so you're not losing money. And you can tell your crew saying, hey guys, we have projects, but we're just taking vacation. Because it gets so busy in spring and autumn and sometimes in summer that you need to have rest at some point. And if you build your business, you work a lot first year, but then later on, one of the reasons why people start businesses is so they can have 4 or 5 week vacations with families, or multiple vacations. Like, why would you else build a business? That's kind of one of the major reasons.
So going back to the territory real quick,
Yeah.
do you guys do a whole lot of research or investigating to make sure that, hey, there is enough siding business in this market, for us to have a, decent opportunity?
Yeah, we do a couple of things. One is we have access to database of manufacturers, and we look exactly at, so other companies of those manufacturers, they submit their projects. And we have like Airbnb map, where we don't know exact address, but we see the neighborhoods of those projects. And we look exactly of which companies, where they did projects. And we can map, like, with a lot of projects, kind of hot neighborhoods. Then we look at competition. We look at overall number of competition. We look at the volume of top competitors in the space. And the third one, we try to get pricing. So we encourage franchisees, when they look at our franchise, any other franchises, well, in order for you to decide a franchise, shop around with other, competitors, and see if you buy this franchise, you actually will be competitive, or how competitive you would be. So what we want to see is franchisee coming to us and saying, okay, I called 10 companies, 8 came back to me, 5 actually showed up, and booked the appointment, 4 showed up, 3 sent me a quote, 1 quote was super high, this quote was all right, this was I don't know, didn't have whatever I asked. And then we reverse engineer the pricing and we say, okay, if you were to start your business and here are the costs, and we basically send them to suppliers saying, this is the supplier we work with, go there, get the pricing materials, so we can tell you all the numbers, but you can double check in your market today all the pricing. And then before they sign, they have a spreadsheet saying that, okay, if I were to bid at the same pricing as this other company, this would what my profit would be. And because our model is very low overhead, our margins should be higher than those guys, because they should have admin person and we shouldn't. Or they will have F-150 Platinum and we don't. Or they would have someone call center, or they would have rented office and we don't. So we look at current margins in the market, competitive advantage over other companies, like how easy it will be to win a business, volume overall of companies or volume overall market. We can, like, we have very good relationship with manufacturers, and we just call them and say, how much do you sell of material in this market? And they tell us the number, and we extrapolate it, and we know that, okay, this is new construction, this is renovation, this is single family, this is multi-unit, this is our market, this is how many projects it is. And we get really good picture of the territory before we start it. So we kind of put the whole game plan together before we start territory.
I like it. That's really in depth. So I think that's fantastic.
And what is your average launch time? How soon can they be up and running?
3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, since we tell people that you sign a franchise agreement with us, we hope that you take vacation before that, because it goes so fast and it's so intense that you might not even realize it. Because I've heard from franchisees is that I've never worked so much in my life. Like when they start business, a lot of people don't realize how much work it is to launch a business. But we had cases where franchisee would come to training and then they would go back to their location. You know, Friday they finish the training. Monday they have already appointments, and they have 10 appointments, for example, that week that they need to go to. So it gets busy very fast.
That's a great problem to have as a brand new owner.
Yeah. And a lot of people who had businesses before or were in some sales roles before, they actually appreciate it a lot. Like, oh man, I don't need to chase my leads. Those people who never had this, they're like, okay, great, I have leads.
So one objection, and then we'll wrap it up. But one objection I get the most is there isn't a lot of opportunity in my area as far as siding, especially Florida, maybe Arizona. I don't remember, but there's always opportunity, right? And you're going to dig into that before. I know you kind of touched on that.
Arizona is the only state where we actually don't want to launch locations. There's too much stucco. It's a lot of like, it's just not like what we see is that people actually do what neighbors do. It's overall construction is a conservative market, so people don't want to try new things. Florida is one of the fastest growing siding markets because they're changing the structural to wood built, and then they have different type of material in Florida. But for example, Tampa and like north of Florida, it's actually a very good market for us. If you go to Miami, we can build a couple of locations north of Miami, but so in Florida, it depends. It depends what location we're talking about. So we would not start location knowing that there's no siding. But we heard over and over franchisees is that, Alex, I was driving around and I see, windows being replaced, or I see roof being replaced. I've never seen siding being replaced. We're like, okay, well, but this is how many siding companies are in your market. Do you think they're all out of business because they don't have any projects? Like, if you have 200 siding companies in your market, there should be market. But then people come back, it's like, yeah, but all right, but there's 200 companies, how would I compete with them? And then we go into, all right, this is your value proposition. We do design mockups, we provide the best warranty, and we have price match. We can price match anyone in the market because of our business model. Like, we are building premium company, but for you to start to win with those 200 companies, you'll do price match. And I can tell that a lot of locations we were very surprised. Like Boston is one of our top locations. If you go to Boston, there's not much siding. In Canada, our top location is Toronto. You go to Toronto, it's all brick everywhere. I can tell the story where we were moving to our first kind of test location in Toronto. Every single person told us it will not work. Every single person, like it's all brick. Nobody's done siding. We got 1,200 leads the first year. 1,200 leads. First, like full year when we started.
Wow.
Like, so there, every time people eat addition, they don't put brick, they put siding. Every time they put a garage, they do siding. Every time their dormer is falling apart because brick is on the first level or second level and third level, they replace it. And there are a lot of actually exterior being replaced. It's just one of the niche that you never would think that exists. But It's a $60 billion industry.
I love it. Well, and I love the fact, even going back to like South Florida, I just love the fact of how much due diligence you guys put in on your side to make sure that there is going to be enough business for somebody to have a successful market. Not just looking to put people in places and grow the number of franchises as quickly as you can.
Maybe we should buy one.
Knew that was coming.
All right, Alex. I think we've taken enough of your time. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
No, I just one thing I wanted to add is that we have a lot of territories available, but people always want the best territory, like the one where you have the biggest potential, and those are actually started running out. So I would encourage people, if they are thinking about it, to call you sooner than later, because we started having those conversations. It was like, yeah, but I live here, but it's already taken. Oh man, I should have called you, 3 months ago. It's like, yeah. So the sooner people, like, it's one of the opportunities that maybe I'll put it this way: every good franchise systems go from, oh, you don't have that many territories, there's no enough proof of concept, to, oh, you're sold out, my territory, everything's sold out around me, right? And this period is less than 2 years typically. Yeah. So we are in this period right now. We just want to encourage that anyone who is considering starting business or considering buying a franchise, there is this window of opportunity right now, because later on we would love to have, talk to potential candidates, but it might go into your top territory that you want to already taken.
All right, everybody. So you heard it directly from Alex. Send me a text message now, 270-215-2844. Let me know your market. I'll get with Alex and make sure it's available before it's gone.
Well, thank you for joining us. And we have a lot of clients that are going through your process as we speak. So we're looking forward to adding more and working with you and the team.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Love working with you. Thank you. Have a good day.